I'll set up. I guess I'll show my stream. I guess.
Discord.
I am aware of the echo. Crap. I am aware of the echo. Crap. That was coming from Kid. Hello, Ivory. Um, so actually what I am going to be doing is I'm going to be drawing, but I don't really want to show what I'm working on right now because it's going to be kind of a surprise a little bit. But I will have some stuff on in the background. I just wanted an excuse to stream. I will have some stuff in the background that I will be reacting to. Just some random stuff. Um, this is Joey's video. Anybody can be happy right now that he uploaded today. I still need to get some stuff set up, but it should be good. Yep, there we go. There we go. That looks very good. Okay. lot of things going on right here. Um, wait a second. Here we go. Here we go. Alright. So I am going to have to maximize that. Or not maximize it, but enlarge it a little bit. Okay, that should be here. Oh, crap! That's annoying. That is really annoying. Um, mm, Alright. Um, Here we go. Actually, let's see if I can customize this a bit more. This is I might just have this on the right side, and then have my drawing stuff on the left monitor. Okay. Okay. I guess that should be good enough. Um, okay, there's a bot in my kit chat. Got rid of that. I think I can finally start things up. What are you up to, Shotaro? Well, I'm just going to be drawing while I have some videos playing, and I'm going to be talking about them if I feel the need to. And I guess I can start this. Oh, wait, what happened to? Okay, whatever. Yeah, I can start it now then.
Mean to be happy?
Yeah.
What does it truly mean to be happy in life? That question is obviously incredibly open ended. I don't expect anyone to have just a straightforward answer as to what happiness is, what the meaning of life is, all of these questions that are just way too deep and profound for your average person. But I think we can kind of get a general sense of how we ourselves perceive happiness and the meaning of life, or rather maybe learn from another or learn from the broader strokes of life as to how to get even close to finding out that answer for yourself. And you know, I've lived a pretty long life now, relatively 31, coming up to 32 years old, which makes me a certified unk on the internet, but I've still got a long way to go. And throughout my many changes through my life, you know, going through my teens and my 20s, now entering my 30s, I've thought long and hard about what my purpose in life is, what happiness is, and how I can even get one step closer to achieving that happiness. And thankfully, in the pursuit of that, I managed to stumble upon this book right here. The Courage to be
Okay.
Disliked, the Japanese phenomenon that shows you how to change your life and achieve real happiness by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitake Koga. If you know anything about self-study, philosophy, or psychology books, you've probably seen this book before. Hell, you've probably even read this book before. I've definitely seen this book around in every single bookstore that I've visited throughout my many years of perusing through bookstores to look for some
I
new
have never
material,
heard of
but
that.
I've never really had, I guess, ironically enough, the courage to pick up a book with a title such as this. Because to be honest, I've always had that weird sentiment for the longest time that self-help books
Okay, can I skip that?
資産運用ってどうしてるわけ
No,
さん
that's
はさ。
そりゃ2歳で積み立てしてますよ。資産分
books aren't really a thing. They don't really exist because self-help through reading the words of somebody else doesn't really become self-help at that point. It just becomes help. But putting aside a little bit of that smart arsery, I finally decided to pick up this book now that I have been traversing into the world of philosophy and I guess now psychology as per me reading this book. And holy crap. On the back of this book here at the top of the blurb, it literally says reading this book could change your life. Yeah, they weren't fucking kidding. I haven't really read a whole lot of self-help books myself, but I'm incredibly glad that I read this book, and I think this is genuinely a book that every single person watching this video, and every single person who is not watching this video, needs to read. This is a book that essentially is structured like a conversation between two people, a youth and a philosopher. On the outskirts of the 1,000-year-old city lived a philosopher who taught that the world was simple and that happiness was within the reach of every man instantly. A young man who was dissatisfied with life went to visit this philosopher to get to the heart of the matter. This youth found the world a chaotic mass of contradictions, and in his anxious eyes, any notion of happiness was completely absurd. That's literally how the book sets the scene and how the book opens up. In this instance, I would say we are very much in the shoes of the youth. We're struggling to find what happiness is, struggling to find value in life, and just want a helping hand of someone who can teach us the ways, I guess, in order to live a happier life. Now, the philosopher in this book strictly follows, for the most part, one school of teaching when it comes to psychology and philosophy, and that is one that revolves around the psychologist and philosopher Alfred Adler, who usually is kind of fit into the same category as those of like Sigmund Freud or Carl Jung, if you know any of those guys. I'm still very, new to this whole world as well, so if I make any mistakes, let me know in the comments, obviously. Although a lot of people relate these three very closely, Adler is kind of the opposite, or I guess had a lot of teachings that were the opposite of people like Freud and Jung. And the philosopher, while using Adlerian psychology and Adlerian philosophy, kind of teaches the youth that life is, in fact, simple when you really think about it, and that the happiness route and the way that you want to live your life is simple and can be easily achieved by anybody and everybody, regardless of their walks of life, where they are, and where they are going. Mind you, I don't agree with every single aspect necessarily of Adlerian psychology, but it definitely is an interesting perspective on life that I otherwise didn't really give much thought. I think that's one thing that a lot of people need to be conscious of when reading these kinds of psychology, philosophy, self-help books, if you will, is that you shouldn't just take everything that you read as gospel, because obviously everybody's life is different in that perspective. Some, it may kind of fit the seams more better than others. In my case, I very much think that a lot of its teachings I take to heart and actually apply to my life quite greatly, which I will obviously talk about in the rest of this video. But the core idea of this book and this teaching is that your past circumstances and your just past in general does not define who you are now. It's this idea that you have within yourself the mindset to change your life in however way you want. In Adlerian psychology, I believe it is called a lifestyle. The way that you think about life, the way that you think about each moment in your life, and how that contributes to the way that you live your life to its fullest extent. If I were to borrow a quote from Carl Jung, the previously aforementioned Carl Jung, he said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become. So yes, we get it. Okay, anybody can change their life and be happy, but obviously that's a lot easier said than done. Not a lot of people can just get up one day and go, you know what, I'm gonna start being happy. As of this instance, life isn't that simple, and those kinds of changes can't be that simple, right? Well, Adler argues
True.
that
That is
yes,
true.
actually, life really is that simple, and making a change in your life for the better can be that simple. The book emphasizes that
Really.
happiness is not a result of external
Sounds
circumstances,
like BS.
but rather this internal choice that you have to make yourself. Nobody else can make this choice for you but yourself. And the biggest step in achieving all of that is to be part of what Adler calls this feeling of community, or this feeling of being part of a community. You know, humans, at the end of the day, we are social creatures that have social interests. We need other people in order to
No.
be a part of everyday life, and in order to feel like we belong and we feel like we have some kind of value. It's very difficult to gain value out of yourself without the influence of other people motivating you or praising you or acknowledging the fact that you are this great person, right? Well, actually, in Adlerian psychology, it's argued that no, if you live your life trying to fulfill the expectations of other people, then that is what we call a life lie. A lie that you are essentially telling yourself that this is the reason for me to live, that I need to live up to people's expectations because this affirmation, this encouragement, this acknowledgement by other people is what gives me the value of life. Which, you know, if you think about it, yes, is completely understandable. I think everybody can agree that it is almost human nature that getting praise from other people for doing something or saying something or acting in a certain way is a great feeling, and that it is something that everyone achieves for. But the problem with living a lifestyle like that is that if you do something or say something or try to contribute to the community in some way with that acknowledgement reward in mind, then when that acknowledgement doesn't come, when that praise doesn't arrive, when you don't get that sense of belonging, then basically your entire value in life is for naught. Rather, it's this idea of contributing to the well-being of others rather than having these almost selfish desires of acknowledgement or praise or any reward system in return. It's about having the confidence in yourself and the confidence in others that makes the contribution to the community that much more fulfilling and valuable. And thinking to yourself, me contributing to the community gives me the value to live the life, regardless of how people react to it, is what leads to the path of happiness, or rather, it leads to the moment of happiness in life. If you're lost with my explanation, don't worry. It took me several reads for me to kind of figure out what the hell was going on as well, trust me. It's really difficult to explain this kind of stuff, right? Because again, this is something that doesn't really come up in your everyday conversation. You don't really sit around with your group of friends, you know, pondering and scratching your beards and going, what is happiness? How do I live my life to the fullest? There is no one real answer. And look, I'm using Adlerian psychology and philosophy here as one possible answer. But again, you know, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you have to take all of these things with a grain of salt because not everybody's lives are going to align with this school of teaching. Although one aspect of Adlerian psychology through reading this book that I never really thought about that I did find incredibly interesting was this idea of interpersonal relationships, and that all problems in your life are based on interpersonal relationships. Basically, all of the problems that you have in your life are derived from how we relate to other people. And if we improve our interpersonal relationships, whether they be through school or work or love or family, then a lot of these issues in our life that cause distress, such as jealousy or insecurity or conflict or any of those kinds of things, will be negated, and that will naturally lead to a more fulfilled and happier life. And a lot of these problems come from this idea of tasks and separating said tasks. In life, you need to focus on the things that you have control over, essentially your tasks, and you have to let other people's tasks be a problem and something that the other person needs to deal with. If either you or the other person tries to interfere with the opposite's tasks, that's when conflicts arise in life, and that's where all of the problems in people's lives start to appear. For example, you could just be living your life, doing the things that you do, liking the people that you like, saying the things that you say, because that is something that is self-affirming to you, not self-acceptance, but self-affirmation. And there is another person who, for example, for whatever reason, doesn't like that you are like this. We can equate this to, say, me making a video talking about this book, and there might be a comment in this video saying that I suck for whatever reason. It is their task on trying to figure out their feelings on how they feel towards me. It is not my task to interfere with how someone feels about me. In other words, if I try to intervene or intrude on that person's task, let's say, for example, I reply to their hate comment trying to justify how they should feel about the way that they think about me, or try to change the way that they think about me, that is the disruption and the intervening of tasks. And that, for the most part, according to Adlerian psychology, is what creates interpersonal relationships. In the book, actually, the psychologist actually goes on to say something that is pretty extreme and profound, in my opinion, that says, if one were alone in the universe and all other people were gone, all manner of problems would disappear, talking about just how much interpersonal relationships causes all problems in people's lives. Now, I don't necessarily agree with that sentiment all the way through. I mean, for example, if I'm sick as a dog and I'm in my bed just moaning and groaning and having a shit time, that's not really an interpersonal relationship. That's just a me problem of getting sick, I guess. So obviously I'm not going to take all of that to full face value, but I do also understand and acknowledge that, yes, a lot of problems in people's lives do strive or come from interpersonal relationships, and I can kind of think about it in my own life that, I think a lot of the problems that I've gone through personally have been interpersonal relationships, and either myself or the other person kind of intervening in their own life tasks, if you will. I have my own tasks that I need to achieve. The other person has their own tasks that they need to achieve, and to not intervene in those tasks, separate those tasks, and understanding the separation of tasks, that leads to a more happy and fulfilled life. It's not this idea of self-acceptance, but self-affirmation. Don't do something and don't try and seek value in a relationship or any kind of situation in life because you are wanting a reward of praise or acknowledgement or anything like that. Do it because you are thinking to yourself, I'm doing this because that is what makes me happy, and that in itself, by me being happy, will slowly, hopefully, regardless of if it takes a long, long time, will make the world around me happy as well. And I think that goes back to the title of this book, The Courage to Be Disliked. It's this whole idea that, you have to kind of live authentically. You need to just not worry about the fact that along the road, some people might just dislike the fuck out of you. And I think this rings true to a lot of content creators out there, my fellow content creators. I think really need to give this book a read to just understand that point by itself, as well as the other a lot of fantastic points that I learned personally through this book, is this idea that it's okay to be disliked, because that, at the end of the day, is the other person's task. That is not your task for someone to like you. You just go about doing what you think is right for you and what you think brings value to your own life. Don't try to intervene with another person's task of them disliking you for whatever reason. Whatever emotions and feelings that they feel towards you is their task. It is their responsibility to deal with, and you should just let them be to try and figure it out for themselves. And it's kind of interesting, right? Because I feel that that life philosophy is something that I've lived through for as long as I remember. Even doing this whole, making videos on the internet and saying my opinions on the internet as a job, I've never really, for the most part anyway, never really thought about wanting to please the crowd or trying to change someone's opinions about me who dislikes me, because there's nothing I can really do about it. That is not my task. You can't please everyone, and that's okay. As I've said in multiple times, and this is a quote that I will stand by for the longest time, it's this idea that someone who is friends with everyone, at the end of the day, will be friends with no one. There's this quote near the end of the book, which is part of the chapter, The Greatest Lifeline, which I think perfectly sums up how people should be living their lives. And it goes like this: the greatest lifeline of all is to not live here and now.
That's open house. Boom, boom, boom. Open house. 部件数が多いから。Boom, boom,
It is to look at the past and the future, cast a dim light on one's entire life, and believe that one has been able to see something. Until now, you have turned away from the here and now and shone a light only on invented pasts and futures. You have told a great lie to your life, to these irreplaceable moments. Adler's philosophy suggests that the past doesn't exist and the future is a blank slate. You shouldn't look at your life as lines drawn from point A to point B, but rather as momentary dots in your life that is representative of the now that you live. If you can live each moment in your life to its utmost extent and to the absolute fullest that you are capable of doing, then that is what true freedom in life is, and that can lead to true happiness in life as well. And I think at the end of the day, the greatest part about Adler's teachings that I think anybody can agree with and anybody can take to heart to achieve a happier life is that anybody can do it. You know, there's a quote here by Adler in the book that says, someone has to start. Other people might not be cooperative, but that is not connected to you. My advice is this: you should start, with no regard to whether others are cooperative or not. Don't try and live a life that is trying to seek validation from other people, or is trying to gain acknowledgement or praise from other people to justify the values in your life. Don't impede on other people's life tasks and keep telling yourself these life lies that impede your growth and your start to achieving a happier life. Because the only person that can help you to achieve that happier life is you. Don't think of the past. Don't look towards the future. Live surreptitiously in the current moment, in the dot of the present. You know, the message itself is incredibly simple when it's phrased that way. But I think it's also a lifestyle, or I guess a way of thinking about life that a lot of people also struggle with. Because a lot of people are very quick to blame other things, whether they be in their control or out of their control, and are, at the end of the day, afraid to change because, let's be real, change is a scary thing. But it is not an impossibility. Anybody and everybody can change for the better. They just need to build the courage. Affirm to themselves that they can do it. Focus on the tasks in life that they have control over, and to not worry about other people's life tasks and other people's lives. At the end of the day, you're not the center of the world. And you don't have to be anything special, but everybody deserves happiness in their lives. Some people might hear what I've said in this video and thought of it as being some like preachy bullshit that is just a whatever burger, a nothing burger. Oh, what are you even talking about? You can say all of this, but it's so much easier said than done. And yeah, you're right. It is so much easier said than done. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible to do either. If you are someone who is watching this video who isn't happy with their life, who doesn't know how to find happiness, but who wants to be happy, then I highly encourage you to read this. And I'm not just saying this in the sense of like, oh, it's a good read that will, you know, pass the time for your afternoon or anything like that. Like, when the back of this blurb here says that reading this book could change your life, I believe it, because in some ways, yes, this book changed my life as well. To me, it didn't necessarily teach me a lot of like new things. Of course, I learned a lot about Alfred Adler and a lot of his philosophy and psychology, and I'm incredibly interested to go further into that, as well as, you know, psychologists like Freud and Jung, for example. But I think it affirmed to me that the way that I view my life and the way that I view happiness and value in my life has a reasoning behind it. And it's a reasoning that anybody can apply to their own lives if they choose to do so. I highly encourage you guys to read it. It's about 300 pages, so you can easily read it in a day or so. It took me a couple of days to read it because obviously I wanted to reread a lot of the parts here myself. It doesn't matter how old you are, what country you live in, what kind of past, present, or future you might have. This is a book that everybody needs to read because everybody deserves to be happy, and everybody can be happy. But anyways, that's about it for this book. Let me know your thoughts and opinions about it down in the comments below. And also, if you guys know any like good books on like Adler or Freud or Jung or any of those guys, I'm definitely interested in checking those out. I think the next one I want to read is The Interpretation of Dreams by Sigmund Freud. I've heard that one is a pretty good read, so I might give that a go if I find it in a bookstore. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to smack my face right here, subscribe to the channel, Let's keep making big channel number go bigger over here next to my head. A couple more views you can check out if you enjoyed this one. This is definitely going to be one of those books I'm going to come back to over and over again throughout my life. But anyways, thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Peace.
Alright. Give me a minute.
Thing in
Alright, where is, the picture
I
in
love
picture
this.
icon is not showing up. For some reason, the picture in picture icon is not showing. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Now, properties.
I love the smile. I love the laugh. I love the speed run. But I haven't speed ran anything in a long time now. I've been on a bit of a hiatus. I haven't retired or anything like that. We haven't hung the jersey up. It's just I haven't had the itch and I haven't seen a game with a
Okay.
speed run that really calls out to me. But last night I learned that it's not always games that beckon for a speed run. I learned about the 2 cigarette, 2 beer, 2 Rubik's Cube speed run, Pringles, pencil sharpening. There's this whole plethora of real life speed run routes out there that, you know, maybe it's about time I start looking at competing in. Definitely won't be the 2 cigarettes, 2 beers, 2 Rubik's Cube one. I'll leave that to the professionals. Maybe there's something else out there for me. Anyway, though, I want to show you some of these speedruns because this shit was fucking incredible. Oh, it's former world record, too.
My time to beat is 3 minutes 33 seconds. I can't remember the world record, but it's around 1:30. You can see it up here. Will I beat that? Who knows, but I'm hoping for under 2 minutes. Also, the up top camera is dead, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. Anyway, let's do
He's
this.
got the speed stacking starter. Nice. Okay, I don't want to get DMCA'd. Okay. Oh, I don't know if I like this technique. Why wouldn't you just
That's crazy.
down both beers before hitting the cigarettes and just go back to back?
Where did this concept come from anyway? 2 beers,
Just
two
teasing it.
cigarettes, 2 Rubik's Cubes. What the heck? Where did that come
I
from?
don't know. If you, unless there's, I don't know the regulatory body for the 2 Rubik's Cubes, 2 cig, 2 beer speed run, but I feel like if you wanted to optimize the route, you would do both beers first. Because he's going back to back on the cigarettes. His Rubik's, his cubing is good. Man, this guy's no joke. This guy's the truth. Oh, he's gonna finish with the beer to reward himself. I see the strategy now. Okay. That's interesting. I just feel like there was time that could have been saved.
Yeah, baby. 1 minute and 28 seconds.
Feeling like a champ.
I'm proud to have my record back. Once again, I nominate Yi Hang Wang. How's it going, y'all?
I didn't expect that ending. Uh-oh. He's been called out. Shit. Oh, someone else did it over here, too. 119?
Yeah,
He
that's
definitely
not
did
good.
double beer.
It's definitely not good.
When's the summoning salt video? Good question.
Okay.
I wish they wouldn't
Our
use
brown
copyrighted music in the
Right.
production here. I want to hear the ambient noise. He's also not using the cup stacking starter. Well, I guess it's also they use the same thing for cubing, to be fair. I also couldn't see the amount of liquid in that cup. So what if he didn't do a full beer? This leaves too much room for uncertainty. They have a whole Discord for this. The community goes crazy. I didn't know it was such a popular category for runners. I mean, it is an interesting route. Not noticing any BLJs or anything, though. This must be the glitchless category. But you see what I'm saying? How you can't actually see how much beer's in there? Impressive nonetheless, but if I was this guy, I'd be challenging the ruling. Oh, he's in different he's going for a different category right now. Looks like he's doing the 1 cube, 1 cig, 1 beer. He's on the diet now. Can you solve a Rubik's Cube with dementia?
JCB カードダブルで便利でお得にお買い物。マイ JCB ペイな
Was
ら
that the end of
カ
the
ードで
video?
貯めたポイントを全国のお店でその
No.
Hmm.
Was not. Okay.
Something not a lot of people think about. Man, look at the improvement though. 6 months ago, he had the record at 333, and he was able to get it down to 128, and then someone got it down to 119. Just like the 4-minute mile. Oh man. And before that it was 455. And I feel like you can see him get healthier too throughout the months of competing. His body's responding well to it. And these are just the world record runs. Think about the ones that didn't go the distance. This man's probably smoked 400 cigarettes and drank 1,200 beers. Now, last night I didn't realize this, but Bruno, who's the other athlete at the top of the food chain in the 2 beers, 2 cigs, 2 cubes circuit, actually came back and slapped the world record around. He had what I believe to be an all-time performance here in the category. Now, what I find extremely admirable about this sub 110, by the way, is that he switched to using glasses for the beer so you can see a full beer being consumed. So now there's no more guesswork, no more speculation, it's all above board, and you're about to see the Michael Jordan flu game of 2 cube, 2 cig, 2 beers. He was checking all his tools, making sure everything still works. That way it's all in one attempt like that, all lickety split, no room for error because of the instruments. I've got to mute the music again because it's DMCA, but an excellent chug. That brewski never stood a chance. And he's sticking with the classic route of one beer into double cigarettes so that we can start solving the cubes, which I've come to appreciate. I still think if you double chugged, if you went both beers back to back, double fisting them, you would probably cut a couple of seconds off. You could shave some, I guess, minuscule time, but in a category as optimized as this, every split second counts. But look how quickly he solves those cubes. It's a work of art. It's like Mozart. We're watching a master. The cigarette's giving him a little bit of trouble. This is where he loses most of his time on the second cig. That one was just being real stubborn. And then right back to the beer. You can tell that he spent the off-season really training his chugging capabilities, which really helped round out his game.
Fuck.
A little bit of puke to celebrate. You love to see it. Lets you know he was... I can't read that. There it is.
I don't know if you can see.
106.
1-6.
Mm-hmm.
1-6. Oh shit. Oh, almost threw up.
That's how you know he let it all hang out there. He put it all on the line.
Yes. Oh shit. 1 cig done. Can you see it? Cig done.
So I think he's communicating with one of the judges on his laptop there.
Second cig done. Oh. I did 2 attempts. I only had 4 beers. I did attempt before this one. World record 115. And another one. Sub 110.
He knew he had more in the tank. See, that's the sign of a true professional right there. He did 2 attempts, he got the world record on the previous one that we're not seeing here, and then said, wait a minute, I got another one in me. And then came in and did a sub 110. That's a world first. Did you know speedrun.com has an actual Pringles eating category sorted by different can sizes? Alright, so solo popper. Oh, they have co-poppers here. What is a co-popper? Oh, they have someone. Oh, wow. Interesting route. Okay.
Porque hay categorías, bro. 3 grams.
Ah, que esto es para algo oficial.
Sí, bro. No. Cuando se empieza, bro. Yo lo hago.
Oh, he hasn't even been trained on the technique. Wow.
Joder,
Oh, they do it together, I see. I thought he opened it for him to save time so that way he could get an extra frame saved when he grabs the Pringle. Alright, that's less than impressive. Then we gotta go back to the solo popper. So right now it seems like Eric PR46 is the world champion Pringle popping speedrunner. Let's see.
0.4, 40 ounce. Follow the can of chips autofocus.
How many attempts has he done? I see an open one over here. Oh! He got the top and the seal in one go. Oh, and he's grinding up. Oh, wow. That's big brain. Now that's a strategy.
Oh, shit.
Wow. That was good. You could try your hand at pencil sharpening speedruns. I could probably do that with a hand crank. Oh, wow. This is old. Small Ant did this 5 years ago. Does his record still stand? This earned me $1,000. World record pencil sharpening. Is this the guy? The raid boss?
This is my recording.
I feel like I just heard the pencil snap. Surely that's a DQ. Also, how short do the pencils have to be? Surely there has to be some kind of uniformity to it. It is a creative tactic. He's doing it like a hand drill, like for starting fires. It's good. I wouldn't have thought to do that for world record pencil sharpening. Been the record for 4 years. Your time is now. I don't know if I can beat it. Like, if we were doing hand crank, I think I'd have a good chance. But this, I don't know. Like, this guy's kind of optimal. Oh. Well, that's big time loss. Well, maybe I could beat it. That was a huge fuck up. You couldn't even get the clapping speed run. You ain't built for it. No, I mean, you're not wrong. But to be fair, the clapping speed run is like actually extremely difficult. There's only a few people on the planet that could challenge that. Because you abandoned your training. There's just legitimately not enough training in the world to get me like prepared for that. That's a God-given gift.
ラグザス新卒エントリー開始強いチームは挑戦から生まれる IT、AI
Alright, that was the end of the video. Hang on.
日本人からしたらありえないアメリカの職場に実在するルールその1ちょっと今日メンタルや
Alright, so this will be, screen capture properties. This will be Sora the Troll, who I have not seen in a while. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I'd actually say this guy saved my life. I'm not even kidding. I think this guy actually saved my life. He is an amazing creator. And I used to frequent his streams all the time. I used to be on I used to be in his chats all the time. Do I still have any videos on him? I made some little clips on him years ago. Because I actually love him and I kind of sort of pretend to be like a creep about him, but I'm not actually. But I do love this guy. I do love this guy. Does not look like I have any videos on him. Yeah, I did not have. I must have deleted them.
本人からしたらありえないアメリカの職場に実在するルール。その1、ちょっと今日メンタルやばいから会社休むわ。何？どうした？お前の好きな VTuber に彼氏がいたのか。いわゆるメンタルヘルスデーだよ。セラピー行ってくる。そんな聞いたこともないようなものを勝手に作るな。はい、日本のエラー発生。これ今日メンタルやばいから会社休むわ。何？どうした？お前の好きな VTuber
turn out to have a boyfriend. I like how that's a greater reason than mental health. Like Japan's work culture aside, I like how a superior would better understand being upset and not wanting to work if their favorite VTuber turns out to have a boyfriend. That's funny. But
YouTuber に彼氏がいたのか。いわゆるメンタルヘルスデーだよ。セラピー行ってくる。
no. You know what though? I've worked for 3 years now, and I'm about to get back to working again. The thing is, people go all, oh, Japan work culture sucks and all of that. The thing with, at least in this case, right here, mental health day stuff, that's not considered right in the United States either. Superiors would be upset if you're like, oh, I'm gonna take a mental health day. They'd like, if you like texted that to them or something, they'd probably roll their eyes and then be upset with you. And I think that's, well, I think it's sensible to be upset with someone if they're like, oh, I'm gonna take a mental health day. At the same time, it's kind of a thing where you have to be like, one side has to, how do I say this? You can't be working for your company if you can't have reliable attendance. So, but you need to work to make money. So it very well could be dreadful, and that's how it's made out in Japan, and I'm sure it is like that in Japan, but it's not really different in the United States. But that's just one thing I wanted to touch up on, and that I'll see what he has to say in the rest of the video. I don't know how many in the US are open about taking therapies. Well, my parents put me through therapy, and it kind of did not really help, I don't think. Yeah, it really did not help me. And it was for 8 years, by the way. Is therapy looked down on in Japan? I mean, I can understand it being looked down upon to skip work for therapy, but therapy in general?
ともないようなものを勝手に作るな。はい、日本のエラー発生。これは実際に実在するものである。いや、これ日本人がアイドルに彼氏いてショック受けて引きこもるのと同じやつだろう。日本ではメンタル不調イコール自分が弱いと扱われがちである。だが西洋では
seen as a personal weakness. Okay. Struggling mentally is often... Hang on, let me think about it. Okay.
メンタル不調イコール自分が弱いと扱われがちである。だが西洋の文化ではそんなことない。自分が弱いと扱われ
Struggling mentally is often seen as a personal weakness.
がちである。だが
in the West it's not viewed the same way. It kinda is. It's really weird. Like, people will be like, okay, you're not feeling well, tell me what's wrong. And then, but as soon as you're like their opposing political view, they'd be like, get the fuck out of here. It's kind of like that. It happens with both sides, I think.
はそんなことない。
日本人はこれ隠すよな。で、誰に
We're
も言
gonna
わない
see a
で
therapist
心療内
quietly
科とか
and
に
not
行くっていう。
here we just, well, a lot of people go see therapy. And, well, the therapy never really helped me. It was kind of awkward, but I guess that's just because my family was forcing me through it. If I went through therapy by myself, I wonder if that would help. But really, in the U.S., we just hide our feelings in general, even not even going to see therapy.
アメリカでは普通にセラピーに行ってるっていう、隠さない。ついでに日本のアイドルは彼氏隠すな。
お前
に行ってるっていう、隠さない。ついでに日本のアイドルは彼氏隠すな。
お前日本の気まずいところをこの動画で言うな。メンタルヘルスデイというものがある。日本ではメンタルが病んでも
東京海上グループが
自動車保険を進化させる。
誕生東京海上ダイレクト。もっとシンプルに、
もっと全てを。
セラピー行ってきますという人間はほとんどいない。日本ではメンタルの不調イコール自分のせいと考える人が圧倒的に多い。だから恥ずかしいものである。アメリカに限らず西洋に存在するメンタルケアのために仕事を休むという行動が日本では見られることがほとんどない。その2、休むという行動が日本では
might exist in the U.S. as in something that work environments support, but work environments supporting that in the U.S. is, well, first of all, I've never heard of that. I have never heard of work environments supporting mental health days. That's just a load of BS, to be honest.
見られることがほとんどない。その2。で、この件なんだけどさ。お前なんか態度悪くね？何が？いや、会議中なんだからコーヒー飲んで足組んでんじゃねえよ。
はい、無知発見。別にこれはそんなに変な行動ではない。まあ日本だとやばいけどな。
足組むのってやばいだろ。仕事中だぞ。
日本では会議。
It means yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
中に足を組むイコール態度。
That, okay. It doesn't, and well, in the US, it does not necessarily mean I'm better than you, but it's still bad manners to cross your legs like that.
悪い。コーヒー片手イコール調子乗ってる。コンボで上司ブチギレ。あとお前はなんかキモいから直せ。
キモいのはゲームのステータス以上みたいに直せるもんじゃねえんだよ。仕事中や会議中にコーヒー飲みながら足を組む。これ日本だったらかなり無礼。マジで 100% ありえない。上司だったりお客さんだったりがやるんならありえるが、仕事をしている一般的な人がこれをやるのはめちゃくちゃ無礼な行為である。日本だと足を組むのはめちゃくちゃ無礼で、仕事中に客の前で飲み物を飲むのは無礼ではないが、日本人はこれを避けることが多い。その3、俺さ、会社員なんだけど、実は副業で YouTube もやってんだよね。は？お前それって収益出てんの？そうだけど会社にバレたらクビじゃねえか。
はい、日本人の典型的な考え方。副業は別に禁止ではない。
でも日本だったら。
な考え方。
It's probably, well, in the case of YouTube, in the case of any kind of internet stuff, it's probably better to maintain anonymity for that kind of thing. As I've definitely learned throughout the years, I've kind of known to begin with, but I think I've gotten better with that kind of stuff throughout the years. Probably don't want to tell anyone in real life, even outside of work, about, your online activity, if it's anything to do with, even if it's not like, the stuff that I do, like I interact with lolly and Shota communities, even if it's not like that, even just saying like, oh, you have a YouTube channel, just stealing stuff, that's just gonna kind of lead to awkward things. It's better to maintain anonymity, to be honest. Especially if you're a VTuber. People actually get fired for having a side hustle. It's really, yeah. It's side job. Yeah, that's probably not a bad thing in the United States. In fact, I know people who do that. It's weird. It's not illegal, but you can get fired for this. Yeah, that's screwed up.
でクビになることって結構あるだろう。
日本では一つのことに集中しろという文化があるが、アメリカを含む西洋文化ではそうでもない。お前も副業で YouTube やってキモいことして炎上しろ。
なんかお前今の俺の状況をバカにしていないか。
副業が許されている。日本では副業を許している会社はかなり少ない。日本で副業をしている人がいたら、それは大体会社に隠していて、バレたらクビもあり得る。それかパートタイマーである。自分で気づいたのが西洋を含むアメリカでは副業をしている人がかなり多い。
I actually do not know about full time. I have not ever worked full time, which is something that I want to get to eventually. But yeah, actually, you know what? I have applied to full time work, and they do not allow. So a lot of them do not allow side jobs. Now that I think about it, they say it right there in the job descriptions that they do not allow side jobs. Now, if it's like YouTube or something, where it's not necessarily connected to your personal information, that's something a little different. But like I said, it's probably better to maintain anonymity anyway.
ことである。皆さんも日本の YouTuber が急に辞めるのを見たことがないだろうか。あれは就職して副業禁止だから辞めてることも全然あり得るのである。
タウンワークで探せるのは3番。3番。ブブー、単発、短期バイトも探せます。
そのよう今の会社に来て俺2年目なんだけど、もう転職を考えてる。早くね？なんでお前ひょっとしていじめられてんのか？いや、給料ここあまり良くないからさ。だったら昇進目指せよ。長くいた方が安定するだろうが。
はい、同じ職業をずっとやることが偉いと思ってる日本人志向。お前も転職して VTuber になれ。
だって同じことを。
No, you know what? When I quit my old job, I did leave on good terms with my manager, but he was very desperately trying to convince me to stay. I will say that much.
長くしていた方が安定するだろう。昇給もあり得るし。
日本人は長く勤めるイコール誠実だと思ってる。日本の平均在職年数は12年。
日本だと一つの会社で一生過ごすやつとかよく聞くよな。
アメリカでは転職イコールキャリアアップ。アメリカの平均在職年数は4年。分かったらお前も VTuber でファン集めろ。
会社員が転職して VTuber になるのって子供がプロゲーマーになろうとしているのとあまり変わらないだろう。
転職イコールキャリアアップと思うアメリカ人。日本だと転職イコールキャリアリセットという。
And the idea of promotion is also something, well, at least I've thought about a lot. I've spoken with people helping me a lot about promotions in jobs, like people helping me with my job situation. Promotions are also a thing that can be helpful rather than switching jobs, and that's at least something that I've talked about a lot before. I don't think it's really that different in the US. I mean, at least that's not how my mindset is. Like my mindset is kind of like I don't think switching between jobs should necessarily be looked down upon, but obviously a promotion could very well be preferable over switching a job, switching companies.
価値観の方が近い。アメリカでは転職は一般的な戦略で日本よりネガティブに見られにくい。日本では会社に忠誠かどうかをかなり重要視するので、一つの会社にずっといることが多い。アメリカはキャリアアップのためなら転職することも普通である。その後、
なあ、明日遊ぼうぜ。ああ、悪い。明日俺、副業で忙しいから。アメリカ人ってなんかめっちゃ働いてね。気のせいか。じゃあ、来週はどう？悪い。俺キャリアアップのために最近勉強してるんだ。アメリカ人は日本人めっちゃ働いてるって言うけど、お前らアメリカ人の方がずっと働いてねえか。
はい、これが最近話題になってるアメリカ人の方が日本人より働いている説。
でも日本人って働きすぎのイメージがめっちゃ働いてるって言うけど。
Wait, hang on.
来週はどう？明日俺副業で忙しいから。アメリカ人ってなんかめっちゃ働いてね。気のせいか。じゃあ来週はどう？悪い。俺キャリアアップのために最近勉強してるんだ。アメリカ人は日本人めっちゃ働いてるって言うけど、お前らアメリカ人の方がずっと働いてねえか。
はい、これが最近話題になってるアメリカ人の方が日本人より働いている説。
でも日本人って働きすぎのイメージがあるんだよな。アメリカ人の方が本当は働いてるっていうのか。
そりゃあ昔な。最近は価値観かなり変わってる。
アメリカは成果主義だから稼ぎたいやつは鬼働くんだ。しかもこんな経済状況だからずっと働くしかない。副業もしてるしな。
そう、アメリカで起きてるのは二極化である。働くやつは異常に働く。それに比べて日本人は手を抜こうとしてるやつが最近めっちゃ増えた。お前もアニメ見てないで働け。
お前ひょっとして俺のことをニートだと思っていないか。
最近アメリカ人の方が日本人より実際働いている。日本人は働きすぎっていうイメージがあると思うが、ここ最近になって気づいたのが、アメリカ人で働いているやつはマジで日本人より働いているということである。アメリカでは二極差が激しくなっており、ずっと仕事しているやつはマジでずっとしてる。その6。
なんだこの画像面白い。そうだ、仕事のスラックのハッシュタグミームスに投稿するか。は？仕事のハッシュタグミームス？お前ら仕事でふざけてんのか。いや、仕事のスラックにミームを投稿するチャンネルがあるだけだけど。お前らって仕事に遊びに来てるのか。
はい、日本人困惑。アメリカだと仕事にスラックを使う人が多いが、そのスラックに雑談チャンネルが存在することがある。
That's crazy. I've never heard of
雑談
that.
とかミームとかそういうの求めてない
No,
から。
I've
でも
never
実
heard
際
of
この
that.
文化って日本だとめちゃくちゃレアだよな。
I've never heard of
職場
that.
イコールコミュニティ。
日本は
職場イコール任務遂
Wait, what?
職場イコールコミュニティ。
日本は
職場イコール任務遂行場所。仕事終わったら早く帰れ。
じゃあお前も仕事しろよ。
オンラインで会社内でミーム投稿とか雑談をする文化。アメリカでは職場でコミュニティを作りたいからか、アメリカの企業ではスラックに雑談チャンネルがあったりする。日本ではこういう場所で
Also,
の
I
業
never
務
heard of
外コミュニ
Slack.
ケーシ
I
ョ
don't
ン
even know
は
what
ほとん
Slack
どない。
is.
だが日本では飲み会というものがあるため、そこで
Oh, yeah.
コミュニケーションをしているのである。その7。
あれ、そういや今日ジェシカの誕生日じゃん。よし、じゃあケーキ持ってこい。今日は社内パーティーだ。いや、
Dude, I love Sora's music.
でもそれ別に
His
休みの日
instrumental stuff. It's awesome.
に個人でやればよくね。
はい、社内パーティー発生。日本人のお前は家に帰れ。
なんだこれ、いじめか。てか会社でパーティーをするのか。
アメリカでは普通。コミュニティの一員が誕生日なんだから別にいいだろ だ。
日本だと従業員の誕生日を会社でこんなに祝うのってあんまりないよな。
日本は仕事は仕事。分かったらお前は帰れ。
いやこれ俺に対するいじめだろ。
会社で誕生日パーティーとか行ってケーキ持ってきたりする。これ実際に視聴者の話聞いてて気づいたのだが、アメリカでは従業員の誕生日にケーキ持ってきたりして普通に会社で祝うのは変ではないということである。日本では仕事は仕事なのでおめでとうとは言うが、実際にパーティーするならオフの日に仲いい人同士でやってるだけである。その8、
今月の MVP は
では普通コミュニティの
コミュニケーションはほとんどない。だが日本では飲み会というものがあるため、そこでコミュニケーションをしているのである。その7、
今日ジェシカの誕生日じゃん。よし、じゃあケーキ持ってこい。今日は社内パーティーだ。いやまあわかるけど、でもそれ別に
あるため、そこでコミュニケーションをしているのである。その7、
そういや今日ジェシカの誕生日じゃん。よし、じゃあケーキ持ってこい。今日は社内パーティーだ。
That never happens. That never happens in the US. Okay, at least not in my experience.
でもそれ別に
None of this
休
has
みの日に
ever
個人
happened
で
in
や
my
ればよくね。
experience.
はい、社内パーティー発生。日本人のお前は家に帰れ。
なんだこれいじめか。てか会社でパーティーをするのか。
アメリカでは普通コミュニティの一員が誕生日なんだから別にいいだろ。
日本だと従業員の誕生日を会社でこんなに祝うのってあんまりないよな。
日本は仕事は仕事。分かったらお前は帰れ。
いやこれ俺に対するいじめだろ。
会社で誕生日パーティーとか行ってケーキ持ってきたりする。これ実際に視聴者の話聞いてて気づいたのだが、アメリカでは従業員の誕生日にケーキ持ってきたりして普通に会社で祝うのは変ではないということである。日本では仕事は仕事なのでおめでとうとは言うが、実際にパーティーするならオフの日に仲いい人同士でやってるだけである。
Yeah,
その8、
it's usually like that in the US as well. You don't
お
ever
客さ
have
んにもわ
work
かるように
friends.
ド
Like
アに
what?
トシの顔を貼っておくぞ。いやいや、なんか罰ゲームみたいじゃね。ちょっと恥ずかしいからやめろよ。いや、トシが一番業績が良かったんだ。それを祝ってるだけだろ。お客さんにわかるようにニックネームでみんなの前に出すって、これいじめか何かか。
はい、日本人衝撃の従業員を客の前で褒める文化。人前に出たくない日
That
本
does
人
not
からする
happen.
と
That does not happen.
これは罰。
That is totally bullying, by the way. I think that is bullying, but also that does not happen. At least not in my experience again. That's crazy. I feel like they're just making stuff up. Like, what? That's
だと思う人が多い。
普通に顔写真とニックネームを一緒に載せるからな。いやそれめっちゃ恥ずかしいだろ。
日本では店員を目立たせるのはレアで
if my work posted my photo for whatever reason, I'd sue them.
ある。というのもシャイなやつが多いから。
Alright.
お前も目立
Hang on, I'm gonna go get some water. I'll be right back. Alright, I am back. I am back. Whoops.
たくないなら部屋から出てくるな。
でも部屋から出なかったら引きこもりとか言ってバカにしてくるんだろう。
客の前で従業員をめっちゃ褒める文化。これコストコに行って気づいた。アメリカだと従業員にニックネームがあり、さらに MVP。
Does that actually happen? At Costco? Has Sora been to the U? Actually, I think he has. I think I remember him saying he went to the U.S. before. But does that actually happen? Because I feel like he's just making
客の
stuff
前で褒
up.
める文化がある。日本では人前に出たくない人が多いので、これは嫌がられるはずである。アメリカは目立ちたい人が多いから、これって実際喜ばれているのだろうか。これマジで不思議なので、誰かコメントでどういうことか教えてほしい。よくオンラインで日本の会社で働くのは地獄だって言っているアメリカ人たちいるだろう。これ、日本人がアメリカの会社で働くのも地獄だったりするのか。
実際に人によるからみんなそうであるとは言えない。だが文化の
これ、日本人がアメリカの会社で働くのも地獄だったりするのか。
実際に人によるからみんなそうであるとは言えない。だが文化の違いが大きすぎて衝撃を受けまくってストレスを抱える日本人が多いのは確かである。
だから日本人は日本企業で働きたいし、アメリカ人はアメリカ企業で働きたいってことか。待て、じゃあアメリカ人なのに日本企業で働きたいやつは一体何なんだ。
クソウィーブなだけだ。
確かに。
I mean, if you recognize the difference, it's not going to be that bad to adjust. Yeah, I'm going to be sending this to Han later. Because despite the, despite it seeming like Sora made most of it up, he still said that like Americans work more than Japanese people, and working at an American company would likely be hell for Japanese people. I cannot skip this ad. This ad is unskippable, and the video's over anyway. I'm going to change it, I guess. What's this? There's an Evangelion stream going on the Studio Kata YouTube channel. What is this? 30th anniversary of Evangelion. That was last year, right? Neon Genesis Evangelion. I think that was last year. That would have been the end. 1995, yes, that would have been last year. And October, kind of late 1995, so yeah, it would have been like a few months ago was the anniversary. But what is this? Hang on. Kaisho Choi Mise Camera. Evangelion 30 plus. Denji. Chuyu. Okay, it's nothing big. Unfortunately, I kind of got my hopes up. Could have been like Evangelion Tokusatsu or something. I know Ano's getting into, well, he has been getting into Tokusatsu for like 10 years now. Actually, forever, actually. He's done Ultraman fan stuff since the 80s, or before that even. Okay. The next, okay. This will be interesting then.
It is Leak City in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. It seems like every week a new leak pop.
Okay, I cannot. Okay, there we go. So, I've been hearing a lot about Sonic Eclipse, the leaked upcoming Sonic game. Actually, no, I don't think this would be really interesting though to watch on stream. I'll save this. I'm probably done with that for now. I think I am happy with the progress. I might be done with that thing that I'm drawing. Yeah, I think I might be almost done with that. Right, pretty close. Anything on Steam I can play on stream. I'm saving. I might play Halo on stream sometime because I did just play it. But of the original Combat Evolved, but I'm saving the replay after I've read the first Halo novel and all of that. Not sure if playing Higurashi, or I guess it's technically reading it, I guess, but doing that on stream will be a bit, since I'm reading it in Japanese now, that's going to be a little, I'd have to say, I might do that some other time, but I'd have to save that for stuff, because the tools that I have for doing that also involve OBS, which I'm already using to stream. I could probably use it for multiple things, but right now I'm not so sure. Yeah, okay. Well, I've run out of interesting things to really stream about. So, I'm just gonna leave the video at that, or I guess the stream, I mean, at that. And thank you to everyone who came, and I will, be back soon. Maybe I can get another stream in this month, hopefully. But anyway, bye bye.